Gains, 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 gains. Now, the first thing everyone should probably take into consideration is me being a Canuck up in Canada who drinks maple syrup all day and lives in an igloo and skates back and forth to work every day. Obviously, what do I know about anything? However, unrealized gains is, in the humble opinion of this piano, is fodder for the dummies. It's basically the eat the rich narrative. We're going to tax those rich pigs into oblivion, aren't we? Yeah, it's unfair how much money they have. That's basically the rhetoric that's going on because they say, hey, it's only over $100 million. And this has come up again. You know, this unrealized gains is like the snake that comes out of the jungle and then everyone like bashes its head over. And then it goes back in and replans, okay, what should we do here? Then it comes again. Because who knows, maybe everyone got bored and pacified with Netflix or some TV show for the past month. And they're like, yeah, I don't really care, actually. It's for the rich people, right? And that's how income tax started for the rich people. So this is what they do, obviously. It's part of that Hegelian rhetoric where, you know, they put something unbelievable out, like unrealized gains, and then they go, okay, we heard you and we respect your opinion. Obviously they don't. And then they come back and they fold it back a bit. It's not unrealized gains. They'll come up with another you know, like freedom fries, whatever they like. Some propaganda expert will say, how about freedom gains? Yeah, it's not unrealized gains, it's freedom gains. You do want freedom, don't you? Well, yeah, of course we want freedom. Well, then you should probably pay your freedom gains. If you do want freedom, don't you? Yeah, we do. Well, do you want to work for your freedom? No. Well, do you want to fight for your freedom? Not really. Well, how about this? You don't have to work for your freedom. You don't have to fight for your freedom. You just got to pay your freedom gains. Now, how bizarre would it be if that comes out? Now, at the end of the day, it would be the end of the American experiment. So there's you can never underestimate the stupidity of government workers, and this is what they are essentially. They are still working for the small cults, whether they know it or not, whether they've lost. Sometimes they get drunk on their own power and they think that they're actually in control, and they're not. They have their handlers and their bosses. Michael Norris, those darn freedom gains. Oh man, that would be priceless if that happens. But it would be the end of the American experiment because that's it. Now, what was kind of scary to me, freedom ticklers. What was kind of scary to me is that when the concept of you will own nothing and you'll be happy reared its head, I was like, oh, that's easy. And people would say, I'd say, you're not going to own your house in 10 years and you will probably like it. Oh, that'll never happen. I own it free and clear. That's what some people would say. If they, well, how many people do you know own their house free and clear and aren't like 10 steps renting from a bank, right? So the way in my theory, the way they would do that is they tax you into oblivion under the guise of some sort of freedom tax or environmental tax. Hey, are those old shingles on your roof? Why, yes, they are. They've lasted 20 years. Thank you. They're great. Yeah, but they've got eucalyptus remnants of the eucalyptus tree, and that's an extinct tree now, and we're going to have to remove all those shingles. It's okay. You just got to get these environmental friendly freedom tiles, freedom shingles. You like freedom, don't you? Well, you just got to get these freedom shingles on your house. Okay, well, how much are they? Well, they're $1,000 a square foot. That's for freedom, though. You do like freedom, don't you? I do like freedom. Well, then it's time to buy it. And then it would cost, to shingle your house that you own outright. You've paid it off, except for the land tax. You got to pay your property tax. So do you really ever own it? I don't know. Don't pay your taxes for 3 months. See if you own your house. So let's get those freedom shingles. Toot sweet. The final bill is $180,000 for your freedom shingles. Alligator arms. I don't have 180K. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We are all fighting for freedom. Listen, you're going to sign this little contract here. Give the court order over to the bank, and then we will guarantee your lease for 8 years minimum. Some restrictions may apply. What's that? 8 years, I said. Some restrictions may apply. No, that last part. What did you say there? Like, don't worry about it. You got 8 years. Sweet deal. Your mortgage right now is just property tax, and it probably adds up to about $700, right? So based on our formula, which we were told to undercut every expense that the person is on, it's a sweetheart deal, a honeypot of sorts. We will guarantee for 8 hours a monthly cost of $400. Some restrictions may apply. You said that again at the end there. Some restrictions may apply. I don't get that. Then that's how I thought they would get everyone's houses, but the best way to get people's houses is unrealized gains. Like you take 95% of mortgage holders and they're a couple paychecks from being underwater. So what happens is that, well, it's their retirement. The retirement is their house. So they plan on, hopefully never paying any taxes on their house because they're going to maybe leverage the equity. But that's okay. You don't have to leverage the equity anymore because we don't want you to have equity. We don't want you to save. We don't want you to, if you save, then you have a little bit of leverage on us and we don't like that. So what we're going to do here is as your house goes up in price, remember freedom tax. You like freedom, don't you? You're going to have to pay unrealized gains on that house. So what do you think 95% of people are going to come up with? Now, we'll go high and low. Let's say someone has some in a great area and their house is appreciating faster than most, and they bought it for $700,000 and it's appraised, because guess who's doing the appraisals? You got it. The government. They're not going to let private companies do appraisals. They want to appraise it. They want to put a little juice on it too. And it's $780. So, you got $80,000 in unrealized gains. We're going to tax that. Now, let's just say unrealized gains is 10%, right? Something they dialed back. Remember when it was unrealized gains of, let's call it 50% with capital gains, then they dialed it back to a freedom tax of 10%. You do like freedom, right? You do like freedom. It's 10%. So now that person who has to pay $8,000. So you might say, oh, well, you probably can afford $8,000. The most of the people I know with jobs, they don't have $8,000. They have maybe a couple $100 over their burn rate at the end of the month before their paycheck comes, right? So most people who have a paycheck, who are not in crypto or Bitcoin, they will spend all their money to the last day. I have people in my family that make a lot of money as government workers, educators. It's gray area. And despite that, they, come the end of the month, they don't really have that much money left over. Enough for fun and games, but not enough for, investing. Even though that fun and games could have made them a lot of money over the past, let's say since I've been telling them to invest those fun and games money, the difference in their life right now would be incredible. What do I know? I drink maple syrup and I skate to work and I live in an igloo. So, Michael Norris, it's crazy in here. So there's something going on that I don't know. I'm not sure. I've been rambling on here about unrealized gains. So here's what you got to know. If it does come through, it'll get back. It'll get walked back into something less, like freedom gains or something like that. But at the end of the day, any unrealized gains is the end of the American experiment. and it's over. So you have really nothing to worry about, because you can do what democracy really is, and you vote with your feet and your money. And if you, hopefully, because everyone here is invested in Bitcoin, they have a little bit of leverage on the control mechanism, so they can vote with their feet or their money. Storm chasing video. Hey, that is what they say about us in Minnesota. We all live in igloos. Is that what they say? I thought it was just Canadian that they thought lived in igloos. Minnesota. There was a couple movies that I would watch incessantly back when you could pirate movies. You know, I would burn them from wherever, LimeWire or something. It was I Am Legend, which may have saved my life. It's like, why did I watch I Am Legend for like 10 years straight? You know how it is. You're going to go to bed. Oh, I'll watch a movie, right? This was before life became its own most interesting movie I've ever seen. This, you know, I had to rely on someone else's imagination. Now I don't. So I never watch movies anymore. But when I did, I would watch I Am Legend. Like I would just go through, like I had about 15, you know, and every now and then I'd do Goodfellas or Casino, but mostly I would do I Am Legend. So weird. There's an I Am Legend 2, I think, coming out. I won't see it. It'll probably be horrible. And then, damn it, I looked at the comment sections and I forgot my train of thought. I Am Legend. Is there another movie I was going to watch? I forgot it. Is there? Can I hold on to it? It's funny because my mind is like looking at the comments and then trying to still reach for, this is where piano playing comes in handy, because you can do 5 different things at the same time. Classic forgetfulness Tuesday. There we go. Now we have what some legacy analysts would call a pre-market pump. And if you've been watching this channel for any time, you would probably know that pianomattyb doesn't like pre-market pumps. I don't. It's just a superstition, and it's not really backed by anything, you know, except for most of the times we got a pre-market pump, we got a middle market open dump. So that's just my paranoia based on certain probabilities. But who knows? You know, today we could have a market open that pumps. But I just don't like it. I would rather see a little bit of a pre-market dump than a market open pump. Who wouldn't? Bruce, my I Am Legend saved your life. Yeah. Well, just the concept of a illness coming and people scrambling to do certain things. Yeah. Stuff like that. Pirate Bay, yes. Kelly McBride. Pirate Bay was one of them. LimeWire was one of them. And then it got super easy. I can't remember when it got super easy. I had everything. And so it was kind of like when I was at the cabin in Victoria Beach, they had VHSs. And I went straight back to my go-to. So I'm like, well, they had all these like children's, like Harry Potter. I'm like, where's the Goodfellas? Where's the Gladiator? Where's the, what's that other one? Magnolia. Those were the 3 ones I would ever watch at and Magnolia came in two VHSs. It was big. I liked Magnolia. It's one of my favorite. I like P.T. Anderson. He has some killer movies. And you know, that's some of his movies aren't killer. That's okay. You know, hit or miss. I've for all the good songs I've ever written, I've probably written 9 songs that weren't so good. I thought they were good, but the trick is any song I labor over isn't that good. Any song that I write without thinking about it in like a flow state of sorts, that's a nice little green candle for the day. I usually do. People usually like it. And then I have a certain resentment to their liking the simple song that took nothing. It's like, oh, yeah, you would like that song, wouldn't you? What about my massive epic opus with all the chord changes and the melody that's almost non-existent? You don't like that one? Figures. On the weekly chart here, I guess after such a dump in this week we took, I'd be bullish if we can get out of this channel of dissension. You know, whoa, what's going on upstairs? Duke must be up. We've spent the majority of it in bearish situations in this channel of descension. If we can get out, ideally, where is this? That's at almost a 23.6% fib, and it's our resistance. I would like to turn that into support at 65.3. That's about it. That's when I actually get bullish on the weekly. Until then, listen, let's take a look at this. No matter where we are, even like hooray for this pump to that's the 23.6% fib too. So we're going to go there to get over the 20 moving average on the daily. Yeah, it's okay. But I mean, look at this. We're just range bound. I would argue we're at the low end of the range, right? So let's say we have an incredible rally into the weekend. We get some good announcements and all the robot quant bots start changing their algorithms to buy. And we get a massive pump all the way up to, let's say, over the 200 again, where we started the week. Alex Crypto, new dad, welcome. I hope being a new dad's treating you well. Yeah, well, say goodbye to sleep, right? Say goodbye to Hollywood. Say goodbye to sleep. That's okay. You learn that you didn't need as much sleep as it turns out, that you were programmed to believe, oh, you need 8 hours of sleep. If you don't get 8 hours of sleep, you're not going to function, right? Well, guess what? Ask any parent how they function on a 4 hours sleep. And then I never really went back to 8 hours sleep, really, to tell you the truth. I find, here's my theory on sleep. This is based on sobriety. I slept more when I was drinking and partying, obviously, because I had poison in my body. I had lots of poison. At any given time, my body was like, flush this poison out. And who knows how long it takes to actually rid yourself of, well, I know how long it takes, 6 months. So it wasn't until I was 6 months stone cold sober that I actually felt better. So for me, and everyone's different, obviously, it took 6 months for the poison to get out. Alex Crypto, what is sleep? Yes. Well, it's something that you'll return to in about 4 years. Yeah, seems like a long time, but guess what? Gonna be another bull run, Alex. Gonna be another bull run when you're sleeping again. Don't sleep through it. And then when I started feeling good and all the toxins were out of my body for 6 months, my sleep was very different because I slept like a caveman. Pianomattyb, what does sleeping like a caveman mean? Well, my theory is when we were cavemen, the first part of sleep was the most important because they didn't have 8 hours to sleep. It's not like they were singing nursery rhymes and putting their kids to bed. They had one look out. Where's the saber-toothed tiger? Do you see it? No, keep that fire down. Obviously, they didn't talk. They grunted. But when they went to bed, that was when they were most in danger. So in order to get any kind of recuperative sleep, the first hour or two of sleep was like, let's do it. Start recuperating. And after 2 hours, they would, that's as long as they would get. So they only had that 2 hours. So now my first 2 hours in my mind, and to a certain degree, sleep is psychological. If you wear one of those things like that track your sleep, and you sleep for 8 hours and have a great sleep, and you wake up and you feel awesome, and you look at your whatever it is score, DMV or MRV or whatever, and you're like, oh, you slept poorly. You're like, oh, I do kind of feel shitty now that this thing told me I didn't sleep well. So I don't use that anymore. Same with weight scales. Weight scales will kind of change my day. For me, I have a hard time keeping weight on the carnivore diet because there's no garbage to make you fat, right? So you got to actually eat fat. I'm always eating fat just to keep my weight up. So yes, Alex Crypto, I'm 5 years sober too. I completely get it. Congrats, 5 years sober. So am I. June 1st, 5 years ago. That was it. And man, jeez, I mean, I know I get here all the time, and it's like, oh, here we go, pianomattyb talking about sobriety again. Well, I just feel as an ex-partier, and I was good at it. Remember, I was one of the best drinking buddies you'll ever have. Let me guarantee you that. That's why it's so many people calling me all lunches, dinners. Let's go out tonight. And I'd say yes to all of them all, usually. The difference in life between that and now is one of my greatest regrets, is that I took so long to get there because life would be different. And now Kelly McBride, his sober date is June 1st as well. Wow. Well, this year we will have a little celebration, the two of us, probably online on June 1st. It'll be Kelly McBride and pianomattyb. It'll be your 9-year. It'll be my 6-year. Pregnant threes, Kelly. Pregnant threes. I wonder if anyone's 3 years sober on June 1st. I wish I could have told my younger self, hey, you should not do this. It's not as fun as you think. And my party self would be, oh man, this is fun. I'm having the time of my life. Yeah, well, there's so much more life to be had without it. You just don't know. You just can't see. So anyone on the fence, I encourage you to test it out. You would you'll be amazed at how your body reacts to no poison. I know, sounds crazy. Sounds crazy. No poison. How can your body really react well to that? Well, it does. That's what we are kind of programmed to do. And the more poison you put in, the less it has. And so Alex Crypto, yeah, sober life is great life. And there's, believe me, I think I was still kind of tail end drinking when Duke was born. I was like a dad drinker. I would have like 3 Kilkennys at night, those luxurious beers at night by myself. You know, I was at home. I wasn't like out partying. But then every now and then I was in the wedding band. We'd tie it on that night and I'd be hungover, right? And there's nothing worse than looking at your kid who just wants to party himself and he's like 1 or 2. And you're like, maybe we'll just, watch some cartoons. That was the end of it. That was one of the things that kind of took me into the next phase of my life, because you're really, not only are you robbing yourself, like this getting preachy, I guess, you're robbing yourself, you're robbing your family, and you're robbing everyone that knows you. For me, who's phoning me? Jesus, don't they know? No, they don't. They don't know that I do this in the morning. Speaking of family, Bitcoin has taught me and my family about more money than any school or university. This is one of the truest tweets I think I've ever seen in a long time, because I used to ask people, especially financial advisors, because I'm a jerk. I like to set them up. It's like my own kind of economic sting operation. You're a financial advisor? Oh, good. Because I had this lingering question. Where does money come from? And they'd be like, oh, well, thank you for the question. It's very important. And here at Donaldstein, Craig, and Wright, we take where money comes from very seriously. Not only do we take it seriously, we want to protect once you get the money from wherever money comes from. So they wouldn't know. And then the great thing about Bitcoin is this is why, like, so my dad in my family is he has Trump derangement syndrome. So no matter what anybody says, he thinks he's a jerk or this or that, right? Like whatever negative narrative the TARD-fi mainstream media will brainwash people, and that's what he thinks. And there's no getting around that. But let's say Bitcoin is a pandering narrative for Trump or whoever's in power. It doesn't matter, because once you touch Bitcoin, once you put your hand on it, you are different. You will never be the same. You can't help. It might not be right away. It might not be in a year. But you come back. I mean, most of us, including me, I touched Bitcoin years before I understood it. I touched it. It's kind of like ayahuasca. I always say ayahuasca, the plants are calling you, right? People will say, when should I do ayahuasca? And I always say the plants will call you. It's like Bitcoin. You touch Bitcoin and you don't get it. And you get away from it. I don't know anything about it. And it comes back, the plants start calling you and you understand about it. So when it comes to Trump or any power apparatus, just pandering to the crowd through Bitcoin, they've touched the orange stone, and they can't help but have their lives, and maybe the people underneath them, the people that don't really get it, they will. That's what I mean. So like, let's say all people like, oh, my dad gets Bitcoin because I hammer it into him. He has Bitcoin. I convinced him to buy Bitcoin. That's how much I hammered it into him. The people that don't believe in it, if their leader, because we just love following leaders, right? If they start talking about it, then exponential. So let's just say Trump, starts using it more. I haven't heard the rhetoric in many of his post speeches, but once he does, Curtis Neal, RFK, will teach him. I think so, because if there was, I'm basically, even though I don't believe in any of the psychopaths, I would think that RFK would be the best option. All lies aside, all cults not controlling the puppets aside, I would say that he was probably the best for anyone in the crypto community. And then all freedom lovers, because essentially you're in Bitcoin for freedom. Whether you know it or not, sometimes the plants are calling you for different reasons, but you find out that it was, oh yeah, it's freedom for myself and for my family. That's all I'm really here for. I don't know where we got on that. Oh yeah, family about money. So I had to learn about it, but it wasn't Bitcoin that taught me about money and economics. It was trading currency. And then once you learn about how geopolitics and banking works, well, you're changed forever. And it was just a matter of time before I stumbled onto gold, and then I stumbled onto Bitcoin. But it was from the uncommon knowledge that they keep from you, because they don't want you to know anything about it. They want you to know how to make a checking account and how to stay in a bank and maybe get a mortgage, but don't understand what a mortgage is. Don't exponential growth or interest. You don't need to let us. We're the professionals. We know about mortgages. Really, they don't. I have people that work in banks. They don't. The one person that I know that knows a lot about money, works in a bank, is Wick. He works in a bank. He knows probably more than any other banking person I've ever talked to. Maybe it's because of Bitcoin, or maybe it's the juxtaposition from working in the TardFi industry and Bitcoin. You see, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. You get to weigh it out. So where are we here? 60.38. Oh, 60.2. Binance. Why are you so late? Why are you so late? Dan Hillary. I have friends who think it's funny that I'm into Bitcoin. I don't share that much about it with them. I sometimes make jokes about it, but quite frankly, I don't think there's anything funny about it. I just wonder, how are you laughing? You are getting effed by inflation. The government takes half your money since you live in New York and your job is in jeopardy. But yeah, it's funny. I mean, how many times do we preach to the choir about the power of Bitcoin ad nauseum? I find now, because we've been in 6 months, people now can't wait to say, how's that Bitcoin going, man? Matt, how's that Bitcoin going? Yeah, she sure is moving. Yeah, exponential. Right. They love it. Meanwhile, they're slowly going broke and they don't know it. So I suppose to a certain degree, ignorance is bliss. I foamed in at the top, couldn't stop myself. I foamed in at the top, now I'm down alive. I should have held court till resistance, where's that sweet reverb, became support. I should have held court till resistance became support. Everybody's jumping off a bridge. All my friends are doing drugs. Everybody's cracking beers. Who the F am I to judge? I suppose I shouldn't care, but influences everywhere telling me I'm missing out. Drinking on their alpha boats. I couldn't take it. I fall more than at the time. Couldn't stop myself. Formatting at the top. Now I'm down a lot. I should have held court till resistance came support. I should have held court till resistance became support. Yeah, we're jazzing it up this morning. What does the second verse go? Damn it. How does the second verse go? Everybody's jumping off a bridge. I forgot. Can you believe it? Maybe I got to take a run at it. Till resistance became support. Something about a pot to piss in. Then when I bottom and take away the pot I piss in, I suppose. And now the producer's going, just get to, if I had a producer, get to the chorus. I format in at the top. Couldn't stop myself. It's my fault for doing jazz style. Format in at the top. Couldn't stop. Now I'm down a lot because my brain is only, the memory cells connect it with the pace of the thing. I should have held court till resistance became support. I should have held court till resistance became support. Beating myself up again, lamenting on the shape I'm in. Take away the pot I piss in. I know I still wouldn't listen. Any of you out there want aping, well, just let me want. Don't give yourself a heart attack. Wait for the fast to pull back. Don't fall my way at the top. Couldn't stop myself. I fall my head at the top. Now I'm down alive. I should have held court till resistance became support. I should have held court till resistance became support. Make sure you like and subscribe and share this video.